Everyone, I have had a change of heart. I am now going to be a committed Calvinist. Spurgeon was right. I'm going to follow after the footsteps of David Platt and Francis Chan. This is Shields and Arrows, and this is actually a redo because we had a little bit of trouble at first when we initially started our live stream, sending out a little bit too much data. I've reset everything now, and everything should be working well. But welcome to Shields and Arrows, where we defend the faith, the family, the fellowship. That is not true, what I just said. Unfortunately, though, we are going to be tackling an issue that is very true. Talking about deception, talking about lying and trickery, there are some children's movies that you may be well aware of, you may be familiar with, you may have even seen before, and I want to discuss today and explain why it is the case that these are subtly woke. Now, you may be aware of some of them. They may already be on your radar. You may already realize that there is atheist, progressive, liberal undertones that are being presented, put forth in these movies. But what I want to do is I want to go through this list, and then once I get done addressing these subtly woke children's movies that absolutely promote the message that the progressive Hollywood elitists want to promote, godlessness, liberalism, all those things. We are going to then talk a little bit of politics, but most of the show today will just simply be dedicated to discussing this matter of subtly woke children's movies. Now, these are not in any particular order, and I think we're going to be covering a lot of different studios with these. Some of these are older, some of these are newer. But let's see here, the first one I have on the list is maybe one of the worst offenders, and it may not be a surprise to you, and you may have never heard of it. But let me get this movie pulled up for you, and we'll probably just use, let's use Wikipedia, I guess, or who are we going to use for our main thing? I guess IMDb, they're kind of the main one. So the first movie that we are going to discuss is the movie, see if you can guess it, Happy Feet. Happy Feet is a movie that came out in 2006, and it was very popular. It was a movie consisting of, as you can see, little cute dancing penguins. And the whole premise is, first of all, there is this egg that is dropped, and there's this whole rule, you never drop the egg. And this particular, I guess they're emperor penguins, they sing, that's their whole shtick. And unfortunately, there is this one penguin that's dropped when he's an egg, and he cannot sing. Rather, he can dance. And so, hey, it's all happy. Look at the little bitty, cute penguins. They're dancing. They're so much fun. There were some big names in this one. There was Robin Williams. Let's see here. Elijah Wood. Hugh Jackman. Let's see here, who else was in this one? Robin Williams, Nicole Kidman, Hugo Weaving. Let's see here. There was also Steve. Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter. He had a brief appearance in it. So this was a big movie, and it was, let's see here, it was released by, who was the publisher, or the publishing company, whatever. I think it was, I don't know if it was Warner Brothers, or if it was produced by, I cannot remember who the company was that released this one. It's not a Disney movie. It is Warner Brothers. Now, so let me give you the gist of this movie and why it is so subtly woke and progressive, okay? So, Happy Feet, there is the, and it's been a while since I've seen these movies. It's not like I watched them all in preparation for this. But Happy Feet, the whole idea is there is these penguins that live on in the Arctic, the Antarctica, and they are running out of fish, okay? Running out of fish. The elders of the penguin flock, I guess what you call a flock of penguins. I don't know what technically a flock of penguins would be. The elders are insisting that it's the Great Gwen. The Great Gwen is God. And the Great Gwen is angry for some reason, possibly because there is this other penguin who dances as opposed to sings. And if you want to try to read in some subtle messaging there, hey, this one's different, he doesn't do things like the rest, there you go. And he is the source of this massive revolution. Now, there's several other things that are in this movie before I even get into the matter of the premise and how anti-God and liberal it really is. Not anti-liberal, it is liberal, which means it's anti-God. There is a lot of, how do I put it, birds and the bees in this movie. Both in language, also with imagery, with the penguins. It is quite weird. It is hyper-sexualized. You wouldn't notice it necessarily. And here's the amazing thing. I watched this movie growing up, okay? Like, we maybe had it on DVD. Now, I'm not blaming my parents because you would not expect these things to be apparent in these movies. It's not like it's a big movie we watched. The first time I ever saw it was at my aunt and uncle's house. There are a lot of things that our children watch and we don't even realize what it is, okay? We don't realize the messaging. This has happened with me and my children. Like, my son will be watching a show on TV and I'll just be letting it play in the background and I'm not even paying attention to it. And then just one time I'll happen to look and I'll see, oh, I never even knew that there was this whole plot in the movie. Like, I didn't know that they went in the woods and found this thing, or I didn't know that there was this whole scene in which they were playing this game or whatever. And it may not even be bad, right? I'm just saying, like, oh, I did not even realize this movie had that event take place. It could be completely innocent. It could be a good thing, right? Like, oh, I didn't even know that in that movie they had that nice little moment between the father and the son or whatever, right? Just because you're not paying attention, you're doing other things, the kids are watching their show. And, but what I am saying is if that can happen with good things, guess what happens with negative things, bad things? You can overlook those as well. And so you don't know, hey, it's a bunch of happy little toddling around penguins, singing, dancing, the kids are happy, and all that fun stuff, and you don't even realize that, hold on, did you hear what they said? There is one scene in which a penguin played by Robin Williams essentially has concubines? Yeah. He's like the emperor penguin. Lovelace is his name, I remember that much. And he has like 4 or 5 concubine female penguins, and they don't make any secret as to what they are doing as far as their role in their relationship. It's very clear. So first of all, hypersexualization in a children's movie. But here is the thing. The premise is they're running out of fish because the Great Gwen is angry with them. And they need to do things as they're supposed to. They need to sing, not dance. All right, they need to sing and not dance. Whatever euphemisms, stand-ins you think that might be, okay? We should sing, and the reason why all this has come upon them is because there's a penguin that's dancing as opposed to singing. Well, then this penguin is kicked out, essentially, of the... Rick says it's a waddle of penguins, whatever it is. Kicked out, and he finds these other penguins, Hispanic penguins, at least in their voice, and they discover this heavy machinery in the Antarctica, right, in the Arctic. And they realize, oh, there's these machines, there's these strange things that are here. And the penguins figure out, these penguins figure out, oh, this is why we're running out of fish, because there's these, it's very clear, you can see these are, they're getting oil, right? Extracting oil in the Arctic. And he gets captured eventually because he's going to track it down. Where is this ship? Because he sees a ship leaving the shore and he's going to track it down. Where is it going? And he finds out, oh, there's people, and the people are here, and he gets put in captivity, and he's trying to get their attention to get them to understand that, oh, you know, what you're doing is killing the fish, and we're starving, and all these things. And so he starts dancing to get their attention, and oh, look how cute it is and so emotional. And then you see this debate with politicians, and there's the evil white man, and he says they're just a bunch of birds at the bottom of the world. You know, who cares? And there's this brave, you know, female politician saying, you know, we're destroying the earth, essentially. I'm not quite sure what she says. Anyways, and there's all this debate and infighting. Well, then one day they release the penguin, right? The politicians fighting against oil, you know, I can't remember, drilling for oil in the Arctic. They let him go, and he goes back to Antarctica, and he tells his penguin herd, flock, tribe, waddle, whatever term you want to use, I know why we don't have the fish. It's because these people are drilling for oil and ruining the habitat. Well, the elders say that's not possible. It's the great Gwen. There are no people. There are none of these machines and these things that are causing the fish to go away. It's the great Gwen who created us, and he's trying to tell us something. He's trying to instruct us in how we need to live. And he says, no, you're wrong, that there is no great Gwen. The great Gwen is not real. It's just these people that are doing this. And then finally, there's this big debate. This penguin gets all the other penguins to start dancing as opposed to singing, and there's the old elders who believe in the great Gwen, and they're singing, and you're having this confrontation, and then what happens? A helicopter flies overhead and proves to the elders that they're wrong, that the great Gwen really isn't real, and it's the people that are doing these things. And then finally the elders give in, and they start dancing too. And do you get the messaging? Hey, you know how the old people say that there's a God? There is no God. And also you get the whole, habitat speech, right? Like, oh, it's bad to drill for oil. We're ruining the habitat. We must protect Mother Earth. So all, the oil and all those things, that's bad, bad, bad. And you know what? Even though singing is what's considered appropriate and correct, hey, you can do whatever you want, man. Live the life you want to live. Probably there's the representation there is like homosexuality, something like that in the subtle messaging there. So there's Happy Feet. Once again, like I said, it's one of those that is not. It's not subtle if you really watch it. Okay, it's not subtle if you really pay attention to it. But Happy Feet, absolutely. You may not realize it if you are a grandparent, if you're a parent. And your kids want to watch Happy Feet. Here's the thing. I watched it, and it did not turn me into flaming liberal, anti-God liberal. But that's because I did have parents who were reinforcing conservative values, okay? So if you have kids who don't have it, or maybe they are more susceptible, stay away from Happy Feet. It is one of the most anti-God on this list, okay? Very anti-God, very pro-liberal, against conservative ideologies, all right? So there's that one. The next one we're going to talk about, I don't know if you've seen this one or not. This one is called The Croods. The Croods, and not crude necessarily in, vulgar behavior, but this is The Croods, 2013 movie, and this, I believe, is a DreamWorks movie. Yes, DreamWorks. So The Croods is a family of cavemen, Neanderthals, several things. First of all, right off the bat, the grandmother, right, because it's a joke, she has a tail because, hey, they're evolving, right? So isn't that funny? So you can maybe see a little bit of her tail there. Yeah, sticking out. So see, human beings have evolved from monkeys, whatever, evolution, all those things. Now, here's the premise of The Croods. The Croods, first of all, is a very funny movie just to watch. And here's one of the scary things about it, right? It is funny, okay? There are funny moments. However, here's the whole premise of it. They are cavemen, and they live in the caves because, look, there's the evil cat. It's going to try to eat him. I want to save a little bit of, because it'll spoil some of it if you see this. I'll let you see some of it in just a moment. But the whole idea is everything is trying to kill them. Food is so hard to find. And the family, many families have died already because they don't follow the rules. The father of this family, he's voiced by Nicolas Cage. Ryan Reynolds is in this movie. Emma Stone, if you know any of those names. So some big names are in this movie. And the whole idea is that you must follow the rules in order to live. So the father is the absolute patriarch of the family. Everyone does what the father says. What you do is you go out and you get food and you get back to the cave as quickly as you can. And then the father, who's big and strong, he puts the rock in front of the cave and you stay there all day until it's time to get food again. And then you open the cave door, you go out, you get food, and then you get back inside as quick as you can. Except for the teenage daughter, right, rebellious teenage daughter, decides, I'm going to explore the world. And she does not want to listen to the father's instruction. Rather, she wants to be rebellious. And so what she does is, hopefully we'll see this as this plays out. Okay, so you'll look here. So the daughter here wants to be rebellious, right? She wants to climb, she wants to look, she wants to see. The father is like Eve, or Eep, whatever her name is. Kind of a play on Eve. I think her name is Eep. He wants her, Eep, come down, listen to the family, stay inside. So there they are running into the cave. The father is keeping everyone safe. And then Eep does not listen one night, and she stays out, okay? So we'll let this play out for a second, and you're going to see what happens is Eep discovers that there is more to life than just getting food, living in the cave. Look, so there it is. There's an earthquake. Here's this land that opens up, and she decides that she wants to explore. And I guess that through things, they have to leave the cave. Yeah, that's right. I remember how it all plays out now. They have to leave the cave and look, here's this bright, beautiful world. The father who, keeps the family safe by being intimidating and scary and a protector. Look, he's a goofball. He's getting beat up by everyone. The grandmother beats him up. He is the punchline. Now here comes this guy. He is a more modernized human, and he embraces the world, and he knows how to live in it. He's very smart. The father has no idea what to do. Everybody they reject the father and start following this young, new guy, and is showing them all the amazing things. You shouldn't be scared of the world. There's more to this life. And the father is stuck in the old ways, trying to follow the rules, and look at how silly he is. He really is the punchline for the whole movie. And how it all plays out is that the father learns that he was wrong, and the family, instead of following the rules that he made, they got to go out and explore and be, enjoy all the bright new things of this world. And this new man who knows everything is so much better than the father, and the father needs to be more like him. And eventually the father succumbs to it. He agrees that he's wrong, and he accepts that, all of his rules, the way they did things before, the way they believe things. The father is a joke. The son is kind of a joke as well. And like I said, there's some moments in which the movie is kind of funny. There's some of those funny scenes there, it's biting me. Go hide from it in the tall, dry grass, right? The fire, because they don't understand. What is the message that it sends? What is the message that it sends? What does it convey? The patriarch of the family is wrong. That the family should not listen to the father. That the daughter should be rebellious, and she needs to chart her own path. And so it is It's wrong to just obey the old rules because there's a bright new world awaiting. There's something better out there than just the traditional things that you have held to and you have believed before. So the Father represents the Christian world. It really does. He represents traditional values, biblical principles. This is right, this is wrong. And here comes the progressive, liberal, free-thinking daughter to move beyond the conservatism of her father. And it really is this rebellious type movie. Very subtle. It's funny to watch in a number of ways, but it absolutely preaches that your dad is wrong. All right, that's the messaging behind it. Dad is wrong. And dad is not the protector. Dad cannot protect you. Rather, it's the young male who understands the world can protect you. So it sends this message, teenage girls, instead of looking to their father for leadership, no, I'm going to go to the boy who says that he has all the answers and he really knows. Her dad is just holding her back from fun and enjoyment. Hey, follow me. I'll show you how this world really works. That's the message that it sends. So extremely woke, extremely liberal, anti-father, anti-God. In a lot of ways, not only with the messaging of evolution, but other things as well. So there is the Croods. Here's the next one I'm going to go to. And this one hurts my heart a little bit because it really is funny in a lot of ways. And I wish that what I say is you should watch this movie in reverse. Okay, so this next movie that is actually quite liberal and very pro big government is Lego Batman. This one hurts because it actually is quite funny because I'm a big Batman fan, and there's some scenes in this that are really good. It plays on some of the funny Batman tropes. The gist of it is, here's Batman telling Joker that you are not my archenemy, nobody means anything to me, I don't care about you, and it's supposed to make you sympathetic towards the Joker. The whole premise is Batman's life is empty because all he worries about is crime fighting, and he is still not able to get over losing his parents. And the movie essentially begins with this whole idea that all the bad guys, Joker has this plan, they turn themselves in, Batman no longer has anybody to fight. And furthermore, here is this new commissioner who replaces Commissioner Gordon, and it's Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's daughter. And Barbara is smart, and she does everything perfect. She is better than Batman in a lot of ways, so you're already seeing the girl bossing, girls are better than boys type messaging in this Batman movie. Batman makes a lot of mistakes. He does some dumb things, and one of the things that he does is he's insistent that we need to get Joker somewhere beyond the law, okay? Which is very much against Batman's whole thing, right? Batman captured people, got them arrested, and they were put in Arkham Asylum. That was how the TV shows worked. That's how the movies worked. Batman did not kill. Batman absolutely worked within the law to the best that he could. And so the whole premise is Batman is wrong. Government is actually the answer. And while I get the idea that you need law and order, you do need rules, and you do need, government is something that God instituted. It really does preach that one of the lines in the movie is it takes a village, not a Batman. So you're already getting that socialist type mentality. One of the ideas of Batman is, to a degree, the reason why Batman is accessible to people, why if you talk to a lot of people, their favorite superheroes are not Superman, okay? They're not Superman, they're not necessarily Captain America. Many times people's favorite superhero is Batman because the idea is he's just a normal man. He's not super strong beyond human capability. He is not an alien from another planet. He is just a man, but he's a man who believes in principle. He's very intelligent. He studies, he trains, he's a detective, he's smart. And the idea is, even the common, even a person, just a normal man can do something about society. And so there's something very approachable about Batman that you can kind of see yourself in Batman, because even I can do something about it, right? I can be a good person. I can stand against injustice. And the whole idea is, the point of this movie is, no, you can't. All right, it's bad to be independent. You need to depend upon the much better, much superior government to do everything. And once again, there's an interesting balance there because we do need law and order. I'm not promoting anarchy or just masked vigilantes running around, but Batman is very conservative in nature because it's a man that says, "I will do what I have to do," and it turns into the whole idea of, no, Batman, you are wrong, you're not successful, and step aside, let the woman do the job better than you can, to a large degree. And so it just has some subtle messaging there, some subtle feminist messaging, some subtle socialist messaging, right? A village, it takes a village. It says that a number of times. Even Batman himself says it takes a village. You also, there's a little bit of like, I guess they use the term gay humor between like Batman and Joker because they have a relationship, and at the end of the movie, like they end up saying they hate each other, but in a way it sounds like they're saying they love each other. It's just very much it's kind of an anti-Batman movie to a degree. So I really like it in a lot of ways because it's funny because it plays on a lot of the Batman tropes, and it is enjoyable to a degree. And my son likes to watch it, and he's okay with it, I guess to a degree. But it does bother me in its subtle messaging. So as he gets older, we're going to show him The Dark Knight and let him see what a real Batman looks like. But it does bother me. It is mixed in that messaging there. All right, moving on to the next one. This is one that I believe foreshadowed a lot of things. I was not extremely smart as a teenager, but I could see some things. My family always got annoyed with me, and my mom's still watching. She can probably attest to this. I'm not a fun person to go to the movies with. Don't go with me because I'll pick every movie apart, at least for all the faults that I think it has. This is if you want to talk about the beginning of Disney's downfall, or at least no, I will say this is the movie that started the era of Disney's downfall. Okay, There were already problems in the before this, but this is the one when everything officially went off the rails. Disney went off the rails with this movie, and actually it was a very successful movie, very successful, very popular. It made a ton of money, and it's highly regarded by many. But this is the one where everything went awry. Okay. So this movie right here, and it is the movie Frozen. So the movie Frozen, probably many of you have heard of it. It's got a very catchy soundtrack, a couple of its songs. It's got the cute little snowman, Olaf there. Frozen is where things really went bad for Disney. So the premise of the movie, first of all, is that the parents are wrong, okay? So there is the main character, Elsa, who has supernatural powers. She can create snow and ice. It was kind of a fun game. Her and her sisters would play, or her and her sister, Anna, would play together. And Elsa accidentally hurt Anna with her powers at one point. And the parents go to seek the wisdom of the trolls. And the trolls, they tell them, she needs to put on gloves and hide her powers. And so it becomes this great conflict because Elsa has this uncontrollable power. She doesn't know how to use it. And Anna doesn't understand why she can't play with her sister. Why does her sister stay locked away? That's what her parents did to their daughter. They just locked her away, the mother and the father. And it's a failure of the parents, right? The parents are bad. The parents are wrong in this. And so also another thing that happens is it completely upends the whole prince and princess narrative. So Anna, who is a princess, meets Prince Eric. I think that's his name. I don't know. He has a name. Prince Eric may have been the Little Mermaid. But regardless, she meets this prince, and he's Mr. Prince Charming, and they have their little song, and they're going to get married, right? Because, love at first sight. And Elsa says to Anna, "You can't marry a man you just met." Which is kind of a joke about, hey, how these Disney movies, right? Snow White marries the man she just met. Sleeping Beauty, which is a great Disney movie, by the way, marries a man that she just met. Right, on and on and on it goes. Well, as things play out, it's really the issue is Elsa is not, she is the victim. Her parents are the bad guys. And what she really needed to do all along is the famous line, let it go, right? Let it go, let it go. Don't control your powers. Don't try to learn how to use them. Just build your tower, build your castle, and all, it's basically a message to the little girls like, hey, have your parents ever tried to address your issues that you have? Maybe you have anger issues, maybe you have other issues, and your parents are trying to help you deal with them. Well, guess what? They're doing it the wrong way, okay? They've been holding you down. Your parents have been oppressing you. When they tell you to act properly, to be respectful, no. You just need to let it go. Let all your anger out. Let all your frustration out. You've got to be who you are. Be genuine to yourself. Your parents are wrong. They've been wrong this whole time. And so there's that upending. Once again, upending the parents, disrespecting the parents, the wisdom of the parents, the advice of the parents. And then also, it turns out, guess what? Prince Charming, he's a bad guy. And so, no, it is wrong. The whole prince and princess narrative there. Anna is betrayed. There is a guy who is, his name's Sven. And Sven is, no, Kristoff is, Sven I think is the reindeer or whatever. Kristoff is another guy, and he becomes kind of her love interest a little bit. And Anna ends up getting hit in the heart by Elsa and her magic power. And the troll says, true love will fix the problem. Well, she thinks, okay, well, it needs to be Prince so-and-so, right? Well, no, it turns out he betrayed her, and he doesn't give her the kiss that fixes her. And so then she thinks, well, Kristoff is the one that I need. And she goes to Kristoff. She's trying to get to Kristoff, but she can't reach him. So you know what? Oh, no. True love, it's not going to work. Well, it turns out, no, it's actually the hug from her sister that fixes her and that heals her. And eventually everything's all better. The prince is the bad guy hauled off. Elsa just lets it go, uses her powers. Everybody accepts her. It's all fixed now. Several things about it. It's a very feminist movie because the men except for Kristoff are all bad, okay? The men that are in any place of authority or power are wrong, and it's really just the... Kristoff's kind of a roamer. He's a rambler. They even joke about him not smelling good. So the one guy who's really somewhat admirable doesn't do a lot in the movie. He does take her as quickly as he can to the prince, so the prince can give her a true love's kiss. But he doesn't do much. All the other men in power, the father is not good. And even though the movie say, well, no, he just mishandled it. But no, the messaging is the parents were wrong. That's the messaging of the movie. So Frozen really started a decline, and they have not made anything good since then. And I remember even when I was 18, 17 years old, whenever I watched this, I realized this movie is the anti-Disney movie. That's what Frozen is. Frozen is just as Lego Batman is kind of the anti-Batman, this is kind of the anti-Disney. The only good Disney movie I've seen is that is like this is really going to be Tangled with Rapunzel, the guy there. Sorry, you're going to see that commercial. The Flynn Rider, he's actually admirable. He has good qualities. So Frozen, no go. I know your granddaughters want to watch it. I know they may like it. It's not a good movie, and that's my position on that. All right, here's the next one. Ready for me to be controversial? You may not be surprised by it. And here's the thing. I'm not saying the movie is bad entirely, but what I am saying is this was really one of Disney's first movies that started playing with the more progressive ideology, and that is Beauty and the Beast in 1991. Here's the thing. It's got some great moments. It's got a really good song. And the arc of the Beast is not terrible, but here's the problem with it, okay? And it comes down to who is the villain of this story, okay? See, the beast is someone who is disrespectful to people. He does not know how to care for others, and that's why he's cursed and turned into a beast, and it only makes his problems worse. Well, he captures Belle, won't let her go, and in order for the curse to be broken, he has to get someone to love him. Well, what does he do? He then makes his efforts to get Belle to fall in love with him. Now, the issue comes in the villain of this movie, okay? Because the villain's not the beast. The villain is a man by the name of Gaston. You probably heard me talk about Gaston before. So let's see here. Here's Gaston. All right, you're probably going to see him here. There's Gaston, the man on the left. If I could pause it, I don't know if I can or not. Let's see if we see Gaston somewhere in the course of this movie. And I'll try to explain to you who Gaston is. So, there he is. So there's Gaston on the left. Not the best. Well, can't even see him now. But not the best angle of him. But here is who Gaston is. Here's some photos of the movie. Surely I can, and you probably all know who he is by this point, but I just want to show you. Look at who they have depicted as the bad guy, okay? So here is Gaston, all right? Gaston is a man's man. He is strong. He's a hunter, just big, masculine guy. And here's the interesting thing. These three girls, all the girls fondle over him, they fawn over him. They just think he's the best thing ever. And yet he's not interested in them. He is interested in Belle. He's interested in one woman. And here's what he wants from Belle. He wants her to marry him and start a family. That's right. He's the bad guy in the story. The man's man, he is a hunter. If this was Disney 20 years ago, he would have been the hero of the story. Okay? But we can't have that. This is when things start taking a more feminist turn. Gaston is a masculine man, and all he wants is he wants to marry Belle and start a family. He wants to have children. That's what he says to her. Belle has no interest in Gaston. She doesn't want to get married and have a family. She dreams of other things. She's reading books. Okay, it's the thing that Belle likes to do. And she reads books about castles and princes and adventure and all these things. And Gaston says, why are you reading those things? They're filling your head full of silly ideas. Now, that's portrayed as he's chauvinist, he's sexist, all those things. Let me just say, how many women have been influenced by books in a negative way? Let's just think about it. I mean, women do like romance novels. And truth be told, when you talk about matters of, I hate to even bring it up on the show, but like pornography, the kind of the general notion is like, percentage-wise, men watch it, women read it. Okay? When it comes to smut, right? Men watch it, women read it. Gaston's point is, why are you reading these books that are all about fantasy and castles? I'm talking about real life. We live in a village, and I want to live a life of marriage and children with you. And yet Belle's reading all these different books that give her all these different ideas. What about this book? I hate to bring it up on the show, but I know that it was quite a fascinating thing. 50 Shades of Grey. How many women were reading that? Which is, once again, I think it's just pornography in book form. How many women were watching or watched the movie but also read the book? And now they have all these different fantasies and ideas. How many romance novels are women not marrying the marrying the good man who wants to start a family. I was listening to Jordan Peterson talk about this, and the primary romance novels, the love interests for the women are pirates, so criminals, vampires, literally like demonic, and then I know, Mom, I know you didn't read it. I know you didn't. I'm just saying women did in general. So pirates, vampires, and then you've got like the rich masochists, which I think like that's the whole 50 Shades of Grey type theme. Like it's telling women, reject the traditional man who wants to have a life with you, start a family with you, care for you. That's what Gaston wanted to do. No, you need to go after the beasts. Go after the wild animals that you have to fix. And that's what women do. What do? They go out and they find beasts, right? They find men that are not principled. They are excited by that. And so that's why all these girls date boys that, or young women date men who have all these issues. They don't work. They got drug problems. They treat the girls poorly. Oh, but he's so much more exciting, because they're conditioned to think that it is more exciting to date the pirate, to date the vampire, to date the powerful or rich guy who is really into bad things. That's so much more exciting than marrying the man who will protect me and be a good father to my children. Do we not see that here? And some may think it's I'm being a little bit ridiculous, but just think about the messaging. Here's the big bad guy of the story. Okay, he's the big baddie because he wants to marry Belle. And then furthermore, you know what happens when he finds out that Belle is locked away in a castle? Here he is right here. Okay, look, there's Gaston reading the book that's filling Belle's mind full of no, don't settle down and start a family. Go out and find, adventure with the beasts of the world, castles and all those things. There's Gaston being, critical of the book she's reading, and there she is with the beast, right? So there he is. He's really the one she wants to be with. He's got all these problems. Let's see here. The dumb people of the town. She likes to read her books. She's not going to get married and be traditional. I was going to try to see if we got a scene of Gaston. See, there's Gaston, right? Man's man. He's a hunter. He just got done hunting something. Belle turns him down, and of course he's a big old brute, big mean guy. And then so what happens is I don't know if we're going to have a scene of it or not. I guess not. But Gaston finds out that Belle is trapped in a castle, being held captive by the beast. And let's see. I want to show you because I think it really is significant here. All right, here you go. Look at all this toxic masculinity. See, there he is. How evil is he? Because he hunts and he's got antlers and in his lodge and everything, right? So this is the epitome of everything bad, right? Because clearly he could never feed a family, right? Because hunting is not a valuable skill, correct? And look, here's the beast, right? So ladies, there you go. That's what you want right there. You want the monster, okay? You don't want that. That is bad. This is good, okay? There he is, right? Big bulging muscles, big strong guy. Like I said, in any other movie, he would be, here you go. And look at this, all right? Now, I want you to see this in different light, okay? Not painted the way that Beauty and the Beast wants you to see it. When he finds out that Belle is brought into a castle, held captive by a monster, he fights the monster. He is just a man. And yet he fights the monster to go save Belle, to protect her. Now, at the very end of the movie, they kind of show that the Beast is not a beast, and that the Beast is kind, and Gaston kind of turns it. He stabs the Beast in the back, because they got to make him. Otherwise, Gaston really dies a hero. They've got to do something at the very end to make Gaston bad by stabbing the Beast in the back to make him look, evil. But there's the picture right there. Look, the man who wants to marry Belle and start a family finds out she has been taken captive, and he goes to fight a monster to free her. Do you not see that this is the reverse of the knight in shining armor? This is the reverse of the knight in shining armor. The knight goes to fight the monster, to save the princess, to save the woman. No, he's the bad guy. And in fact, the woman actually wants to be with the monster. And guess what? Our girls don't want to date men that treat them with any respect. Because they're not conditioned to see that. They see that as boring. That's why girls want guys to treat them badly. All right, so there's Beauty and the Beast. All right, one last one. This one's not quite as anti-God in traditional values, but it is subtly liberal, and it's a fun movie, no doubt about it, and it'll get the tears to flow, and it's kind of a cute little tearjerker. Monsters Inc. So this is our one Pixar movie that we've got on here. So Monsters Inc. came out in 2001. The whole premise is, right, monsters actually are hiding in the closet, scaring little kids. And the reason the monsters do it is because somehow they take in the screams of the kids and they use it to power their world, right? It's an energy plant. It's what it is it's an oil plant, right? Fossil fuel, which are they really made of fossils? I don't think so, but it's a carbon-based fuels. And that's the whole idea. And so this little girl escapes. Boo, she's so cute, right, and everything. And the monsters, are trying to figure out what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? They're so dangerous, right? Little kids, they're so dangerous, so scary, and eventually what they find out over time is when you make her laugh produces, 10 times, if not more energy than their crying. So instead, the movie basically concludes, instead of the monsters scaring the kids to get them to scream to get energy, they make the kids laugh to get them energy. Now, here's the big plot of the movie, though. The owner, Mr. Waternoose, who owns the plant, knows that little kids, their laugh actually produces more energy. However, if he lets that get out, it will fundamentally upend his company. Because the entire premise is, if there is this source of energy that produces so much more, then they're going to have excess of energy and, may not make as much money because energy will now be super cheap because there's so much of it. And he wants his company will die, he thinks, because he's not going to be able to use the less efficient form, because there's going to be this more efficient form. It's better. The kids don't have to be scared. You can make them laugh. It'll completely destroy his company, is the idea. So he's the big bad guy, and they've got to expose him. The whole point is it's saying it's alternate energy is good. Fossil fuels, right? Carbon fuels are bad. So shame on you. The same plot is very similar in Cars 2. Cars 2 also has this plot in which the alternative form of fuel is good, and the traditional fuel is bad. It's one of those that it's very subtle. You wouldn't think Monsters Inc. has that, but it absolutely does. It's got the liberal progressive agenda. So there are my list of subtly woke children's movies. Some more obvious, Happy Feet for one. Probably more people know about that than others. I don't think as many people realize it, though, as far as The Croods, Beauty and the Beast, some of those others. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying that I would never let our kids watch some of them, like Lego Batman. The message is subtle there, but they're not watching Happy Feet. They're not going to watch, They're not going to watch Happy Feet. They're not going to watch Frozen. If our girls want to watch a Disney princess show, we'll let them watch a movie. We'll let them watch Tangled. Not going to watch The Croods. Beauty and the Beast, Monsters, Inc., Lego Batman. There is some redeeming qualities there that I could maybe look past in some ways, but I definitely will tell my kids about Beauty and the Beast, hey, Gaston should actually be the hero in this, okay? So they're going to understand that. I'm going to talk to them about that. Now, here's the thing. I decided to do this on April Fool's Day because I feel like it's a good theme because they're fooling you, they're tricking you. Oh, look, here's just a kid's movie. No, it's a Trojan horse full of progressive liberal ideology. If you want me to do a reverse of that, how about if you want me to do one subtly Christian or conservative kids movies, we could do that. Also, I could maybe even do a subtly, grown-up movies or just movies in general. But there are some movies out there for kids that they're not overtly Christian, not overtly conservative, but their message really is quite good. So we could talk about a few of those. There's some other obvious kids movies that are very anti-God, anti-Christian. I haven't even watched it, but The Golden Compass, I know that it is an anti-God type movie. I've never watched it, and I didn't even want to mention it on this list because it's so overtly obvious. So many people heard about The Golden Compass, now anti-God, that it is. So there were some obvious ones that you think, what about this one? Why not that one? If you do have any on here you think that I overlooked, if there are any kids' movies you think I didn't mention that are anti-God, anti-conservative values, go ahead and comment. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to mention them if there's some that I overlooked, because I certainly could do that. Disney's The Little Dinosaur also I would say is another one that is quite, it's very heavily evolution because if the asteroid missed, the dinosaurs would still be alive and they would be farming, and the little boy would be the one that was half, he would be like an animal. So you have evolution there, but those are all pretty, a thumb on the nose type movies to where it's pretty obvious. My goal was to address those that are more subtle, that are less in your face, okay? They're masked behind cute little dancing penguins. They're masked behind, here's this family of cavemen, right? And isn't it funny? And it doesn't have some funny moments, and it does. I'm not lying. I'm not going to lie and tell you that it's not funny. There are some times when it would make you laugh, especially these flock of birds that just can eat something down to the bone in 3 seconds. And they're like, oh, look at those cute birds, So there are some things that are humorous in those movies. But there also are a lot of very anti-God, liberal undertones that you don't always catch. So with that, maybe one of these days I'll do a list of I think the best kids movies of all time, or that'll kind of be maybe the Christian conservative type version. Those that are subtle, those that you may not think of directly, right? So you think of Narnia. Narnia is obviously overtly Christian and something that Disney would never do today. They would absolutely butcher it, which I think they're going to butcher it anyways. Whoever does it, because I think Amazon may own the rights to Narnia now. I don't know if they seem to own the rights to everything. And I think they're wanting Meryl Streep to voice Aslan, which is extremely ridiculous because Aslan is a male, and Aslan obviously does stand in the place of Christ in the Narnia books. So once again, just another undermining of Christianity. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. All right, so please comment if there's any other movies that you think I overlooked, any kids' movies that actually have subtle atheist, progressive messaging. Let me know. A lot of them do. And here's the thing. I didn't even talk about Turning Red in Kanto. I didn't even talk about these modern Disney movies because those are obvious, okay? I wanted to go back a little bit to some of the more subtle ones, all right? Like I said, there's a reason why I didn't talk about any of the, Inside Out 2 or any of those because I think it goes without saying, if it's Disney in this modern time, of course it's going to be progressive. But I wanted to hit some of those that you wouldn't necessarily thought. All right, a little bit of politics. Let's talk Trump tariffs. For real, how that for Whiplash. Go ahead and comment the movies though if you have any. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm not an economical expert. I think a bunch of people are talking about tariffs as if they know, and I don't think they do. Those that say, "Oh, tariffs are terrible, it's not going to help." All right, that's your words. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. And I also think there's some people saying, "Oh, tariffs are great." I think maybe it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know. What I am saying is there's two things that I really have to say. Number one, we need a good economy. If we want to see the Republicans maintain control in the next election, which how much are they going to do? I really don't know. Seems like the Republicans always underperform. The Democrats always overperform very often. And I'm not talking about election numbers. I'm talking about delivering promises, right? The Democrats will do crazy things, right? Push crazy ideology. The Republicans, they get in power, and then what do? They don't do half the stuff that you wanted them to do. But anyways, we do need a good economy because that's how you win elections. Trump does need to make sure that whatever he does not hurt the economy. Now, I'm not saying that you can't take a temporary hit to get some things accomplished. Trump could play it much more safe. He could back off on tariffs, he could do a lot of things to help the stock market. He's not playing it safe. I think that means a couple things. Number one, he is a man of conviction and is willing to take temporary losses for future gains. Also, I think he believes that it's going to be worth it. The risk is going to be worth it. So I think that's true. Because he absolutely could be playing it much safer than he is right now. At the same time, we've got to get the border in place where it needs to be more permanently. And Trump can't do it in just 4 years. I think it needs to be multiple administrations back to back reinforcing the border. We've got to get that done. We also need back-to-back administrations building up our military. J.D. Vance, just probably going to say it, he's going to run for president in 2028. I really think so. Unless something goes major wrong, right? We need J.D. Vance or the next Republican to be in office again because it takes much longer to build up a military than you think. For the sake of our border security and our military strength, we need Trump to be successful. I really hope that we are not burning up our bridges on the sake of tariffs and the economy, and it's going to prevent him from doing all the work he needs to do on the border and the military. Does that make sense? I'm not saying I'm anti-tariffs. I'm really holding out and trusting that Trump has a plan and that things are going to play out well, okay? That's really what I'm hoping for, all right? I'm not saying I think that Trump is completely wrong. I'm just simply saying I hope his game plan is going to play out in a good way, because I think the tariffs are ridiculous. All right, I mean, not Trump's tariffs. I think the tariffs other countries put on us are ridiculous. All right, I think that it's absurd that we don't have reciprocal tariffs. Right, that we don't match however much they tariff us. To me, that's a no-brainer. My father-in-law's pointed that out before. It's a no-brainer that if China tariffs us for a certain amount, we should tariff them. That makes sense to me. I'm fully for it. At the same time, I want Trump's success to continue, and I don't want to see the Democrats get their foot in the door. And the only way I think they can get their foot in the door, because here's the thing, Trump's incredibly popular on the border. He's incredibly popular with the military. He's incredibly popular with the transgender issue. I think people are waking up to it. People just like American energy, not just our fuel, but also like American energy. Hey, the vibes, if you will. People like that. The one way that the Democrats can get any kind of ground, any kind of momentum, is if the economy is not good. So those are my concerns, my worries on it. I'm not saying that it can all go bad, but I am saying let's be cautious. Let's not think that we can reach a point where we'll never lose again. So because it absolutely can happen, and one day it will. I mean, I imagine there's going to come a day when the Democrats are back in power, and we're sitting on the outside looking in, and it's not going to be a great thing. So with all that being said, those are my thoughts as far as our message here for political matters, political issues of the day. Because, hey, this is Shields and Arrows, where we defend the faith, the family, and the fellowship, and matters of politics absolutely influence us, and we got to pay attention to those things. Rick does say, I don't feel sorry for Canada. They have had 250% on American dairy for years. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I'm not against it by any means. I'm just hoping that it works out. It's a lot of gamble there. Kristen says the left doesn't care about climate anymore. Elon Musk turned evil. Yeah, get rid of all the Teslas. Isaiah's on with us today. Great to have you. Enjoying just seeing everybody's comments here. All right. Well, everyone, we're at an hour now. So, hey, aren't you glad? I told you that we'd be back to hour-long shows with Shields and Arrows. So it finally happened. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you need anything at all, feel free to reach out to me at markbazeministries.org. If you want to support the ministry, that's how we're doing it, folks. I mean, I'm not going to leave my little church and then go pastor some big one just for a paycheck, all right? So the way that this ministry happens, the way I'm able to do it is through your help. And I really do appreciate it. I hope that your time and investment's worth it. So thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow.